You're listening to Audiology. Support our work on Patreon and be sure to submit your requests for topics in the comments below. The Potsdam Agreement, reached by three World War II allies, the United Kingdom, the United States, and the Soviet Union, marked a significant moment in history on August 1, 1945, right after the war ended in Europe. Revealed to the public the following day, this agreement emerged from the discussions at the Potsdam Conference. It outlined plans for the military occupation and rebuilding of Germany, defining its borders and the future of war-affected territories in Europe. Key aspects included Germany's disarmament, payment of reparations, prosecution of war criminals, and the forced relocation of ethnic Germans from several European regions. Interestingly, France, although not present at the conference, was still recognized as one of Germany's occupying forces. Not intended as a formal peace treaty, the Potsdam Agreement nevertheless set significant policies in motion. It was eventually replaced by the Treaty on the Final Settlement with respect to Germany, signed on September 12, 1990. France's absence from the conference led to some resistance regarding the agreement's implementation, especially within its occupation zone in Germany. France notably declined to accept expelled Germans from the East and resisted adopting the Potsdam Agreement's actions in the Allied Control Council's proceedings. This included opposing any move that might pave the way for a unified German government, such as setting common policies across Germany or reconfiguring territories like the separation of the Saarland to establish a French protectorate in February 1946. After World War II ended in Europe, which took place from 1939 to 1945, the Allies, following their earlier decisions made at conferences in Tehran, Casablanca, and Yalta, took over supreme control of Germany as declared in the Berlin Declaration on June 5, 1945. At the Potsdam Conference, the Western Allies had to accept Stalin's decision, which had already been made, giving Soviet-occupied Poland the River Oder as its western boundary. This meant that areas east of the river, except for the Kaliningrad enclave, such as Pomerania, most of East Prussia, and the city of Danzig, were put under Polish control. Germans living in these areas who hadn't escaped were forced to leave, and their properties were taken over by the state. This action faced protests from President Truman and the British delegates. The conference where these issues were discussed, known as the Three Power Conference, happened from July 17 to August 2, 1945. On the last day, the leaders signed the protocol of the proceedings at Cecilienhof Palace in Potsdam, with key signatures from Stalin, Truman, and Clement Attlee. Attlee was there because he became the United Kingdom representative after replacing Winston Churchill as a result of the 1945 British general election. They also decided to include France and China in the Council of Foreign Ministers to help oversee the agreement, with France joining on August 7th, but with some reservations, especially about the reformation of a central German government. James F. Burns, writing about the agreements, mentioned that there was no commitment to a specific western boundary for Poland agreed upon at conference. The Berlin Protocol also emphasized that determining Poland's western border should wait until a peace agreement was reached. Burns argued it wasn't accurate to claim that any boundary had been definitively set during the conferences. Nonetheless, the Oder-Neisse line was marked as Poland's provisional western boundary in the conference agreement, but wasn't officially recognized as the permanent border until the 1990 German-Polish Border Treaty, even though it had been acknowledged by East Germany in 1950 and tacitly accepted by West Germany in 1970. At the Potsdam Conference, also known as the Berlin Conference, the Allies, consisting of the United Kingdom, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, and the United States, made several critical decisions regarding the post-war order. They established a Council of Foreign Ministers, which would also include France and China, to prepare a peace settlement for Germany. This peace settlement was to be implemented by a yet-to-be-established German government deemed capable of fulfilling the terms. They also set out the post-war treatment for Germany, dividing the nation into 4 occupation zones. Each zone would be controlled by Britain, the Soviet Union, the United States, and France, respectively. While each country's forces had sovereign authority within their zone, they would jointly exercise authority over Germany as a whole through the Allied Control Council. The main political goals were to democratize Germany, treat it as a single unit, disarm and demilitarize it, and eliminate all influence of the Nazi Party. Economically, the plan was to reduce or destroy Germany's heavy industry with war potential and shift its economy towards agriculture and light industry. Specifically, the agreement detailed how reparations were to be managed, particularly claiming reparations from the Soviet occupation zone within Germany and transferring industrial capacity from the Western zones to the Soviet Union. The Allies decided to sink all but 30 German submarines and divide the rest of the German Navy and merchant marine evenly among themselves. Furthermore, the city of Königsberg, now Kaliningrad, was to be supported for transfer to the Soviet Union. Regarding war criminals, the agreement reinforced the intention to bring major war criminals to justice swiftly, referring to ongoing discussions in London that would lead to the Nuremberg trials. Austria was noted to be free from reparations, while Poland was to establish a provisional government of national unity and would receive territories from Germany, with final borders to be decided later. The conference also paved the way for peace treaties with Bulgaria, Finland, Hungary, and Romania, noting that these treaties would support their applications for United Nations membership. By 1947, when the peace treaties were signed, the governments of Romania, Bulgaria, and Hungary had become communist. It was decided that former Italian colonies would be addressed in a future peace treaty for Italy, highlighting the 1947 Paris Peace Conference, where Italy and other Axis powers treaties were signed. The agreement also focused on the orderly transfer of German populations from Poland, Czechoslovakia, and Hungary back to Germany, emphasizing the need for the process to be humane. In terms of international affairs, the Allies agreed to withdraw troops from Tehran, maintain Tangier's international status, revise the Montreux Convention regarding the Black Sea Straits, and discuss international inland waterways. Lastly, the Potsdam Conference issued the Potsdam Declaration, demanding Japan's surrender to end the Pacific War, marking a significant step toward concluding World War II. During the Potsdam Conference on July 30, 1945, the Allied nations formed the Allied Control Council in Berlin. This body was tasked with implementing the 4 Ds to reshape German society following World War II. Denazification aimed to remove all traces of Nazi ideology. Demilitarization focused on dismantling the German military and arms industry, although the Cold War soon led to the rearming of Germany, with the establishment of the Bundeswehr in the West and the National People's Army in the East. Democratization introduced political parties and unions, as well as freedoms concerning speech, press, and religion. Decentralization promoted a federal structure within Germany and initiated the dismantling of its industrial complex. However, dismantling efforts ceased in West Germany in 1951 due to the Truman Doctrine, leaving East Germany to manage the aftermath on its own. Territorial adjustments were also significant after the war. The northern half of East Prussia was taken by the Red Army and became the Soviet Kaliningrad Oblast, with the Western Allies agreeing to this annexation pending a final peace treaty. The Allies recognized the Polish provisional government, leading to the territories east of the Oder-Neisse line being placed under Polish administration, which included the area up to the Czechoslovak border and incorporated the former free city of Danzig and the port of Stettin, now known as Szczecin Lagoon, crucial for Upper Silesia's industrial zone. Consequently, Germany was redefined to consist only of the occupation zones, excluding all territories east of the Oder-Neisse line, which were not part of the Soviet occupation zone. Regarding expulsions, following the war, there was a significant movement to displace ethnic Germans from Central Europe. This was partly due to Polish efforts to secure the Lusatian-Neisse as a border, leading to the suppression and eventual expulsion of the German population in certain areas. Expulsion wasn't limited to territories under Polish administration. Germans were also forced out of Czechoslovakia, including the Sudetenland, where they were a majority, as well as from enclaves in Bohemia, Moravia, and Prague. Beyond Poland and Czechoslovakia, ethnic Germans faced expulsion and property seizure in Romania and Yugoslavia and from previously settled areas in the Soviet Union, including northern East Prussia and adjacent regions. Thanks for watching. Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more content.